Title: Love in the Silence of Toronto. It was a cold evening in Toronto. Under a gray sky, 24-year-old Emma stood quietly on her apartment balcony, watching the city lights twinkle like stars in motion. She lived alone, young, beautiful, independent, and full of dreams. She had recently graduated and was working remotely for a design agency. Her life looked perfect from the outside. But inside, there was an emptiness, a quiet longing for love. Every evening, Emma would sit alone by the window with a cup of coffee in her hand and a book on her lap. Her phone stayed quiet, and her thoughts loud. She dreamed of a love that would understand her silence, someone who wouldn't need her to explain herself. Someone who'd just know. The unexpected message. One evening, as she was editing her photos, a message popped up on her Instagram. "Hey Emma, love your photography. The city looks more alive through your lens." The message was from someone named Ayan. He had just moved to Canada from Pakistan, and his message felt genuine. Emma usually ignored DMs, but something about Ayan's words made her pause. She replied with a simple, "Thanks" smile. That one word started a beautiful conversation that would soon become a daily routine. They talked about art, cities, languages, favorite coffee spots, and childhood memories. Ayan would ask her to send more photos of Toronto, and she'd send each one with a story. Slowly, their conversations turned into something deeper. The first meeting. After a few weeks, they finally decided to meet. They chose Harbourfront Centre, where the lake meets the skyline. It was breezy, and Emma was nervous, clutching her coffee like a shield. When Ayan saw her for the first time, he smiled and said, "You look even more beautiful than your pictures." Emma blushed. She hadn't felt this seen in a long time. They talked for hours, walking slowly by the lake, watching the boats pass. It was easy, natural, like they had known each other in another lifetime. Falling in love. Days turned into weeks, and their bond grew stronger. They explored Toronto together, the hidden lanes of the Distillery District, the colors of Kensington Market, and the quiet corners of High Park. Sometimes, they didn't speak much. Sometimes, just sitting in silence was enough. Ayan often quoted Urdu poetry, and Emma would quietly listen, not understanding every word but feeling every emotion. Kabhi kisi ko mukamal jahan nahin milta. Kahan zameen, kahan osman nahin milta. No one ever gets a perfect world. Sometimes the earth is missing, sometimes the sky. Emma reached out and held his hand. In that moment, she understood poetry without needing to translate it. The test of distance. But love, no matter how pure, is never without trials. One day, Ayan received a job offer from Vancouver, a dream opportunity he couldn't ignore. The news hit Emma hard. They sat silently in her apartment, the city outside busy as ever. "I'm leaving," he said softly, "but I can stay if you want." Emma looked at him, her eyes full of unshed tears. "No," she whispered, "love isn't about holding someone back. It's about believing they'll come back." They hugged like it was both a goodbye and a promise. Apart, but never truly. Ayan moved to Vancouver. But love didn't leave Toronto. Every night, they video called, sent each other letters, and shared their days like they still lived down the street from one another. Emma missed him deeply, but she poured her heart into photography, capturing moments that spoke of love and waiting. One day, after 6 long months, she stood at the airport once again. She wore a warm beige coat, a coffee cup in her hand, and a nervous smile. When Ayan appeared through the gates, he dropped his bag, ran to her, and held her tightly. "I'm back," he whispered, "and I'm not going anywhere this time." The end, or a new beginning. They moved in together in the same little apartment where the love story had started. Now the silence of Toronto was filled with laughter, warmth, and late-night poetry. Emma's dreams had come true. Not just of finding love, but of finding someone who truly saw her, who chose her, even when miles apart. Moral. Sometimes, love finds us in the loneliest moments. In a big city like Toronto, Full of noise and people, two hearts found each other in silence. Not all love stories need grand gestures.